it's the day after the con. Oh no, it's 2 days after the con. It only feels like one day because I slept a lot yesterday. I'll go into more detail about it later. But anywho, it is now 2 days after, and we have things to do. I've got a few more days off before I need to go back to work, and I need to use them effectively. One thing we need to do is tidy my bedroom. It was actually worse than this, but I've been meaning to tidy this bookshelf for a while. Because this was like a bookshelf that used to sit, you know, on that end. Like that end was on the floor. But I attached some legs to it. So that way it could be along the way. And it was just more accommodating this way. It looked better. You know, it's on level with my other stuff. Anywho, it is time to actually organise it a bit, because I started organising it ages ago and then decided, nah, I'm done. Bad habit, very bad habit of starting a tidying project and then I get tired, I need a nap, or I'm hungry, or I just can't be arsed, and then just wander away. And then I have to wait till I'm in the mood to do it again. And then that's when, you know, my mum comes up and she's like, why have you not done this? I'm like, because it's my house and I could do what I like, go away. My mind doesn't work like yours, mother. I'm perfectly happy to leave something alone. That sock that's been lying in the hallway for 3 months, it's gonna stay there until I feel like picking it up. Saying that though, those bad habits haven't been nearly as bad since I was on since I started like anti-anxiety medication. It's been helping my executive function abilities. It's been destroying my ability to think of a sentence though. Although it might just be because I'm still a bit tired. I did sleep a lot yesterday. Like, to get those days where you're a lot more tired than you realise the minute you stop and sit down. Hello, baby. Yes, we're going to clean the room today. Easy boy. So yeah, we're going to get this bit sorted, get it all nice and organised, because I want those folders organised, I want my nice books organised. We need to empty out these boxes because they're full of rubbish and junk. Yeah, we need to declutter this mess. I don't like it, because I'm going to go back to work and then I'm definitely not going to get any tidying done. We're making some good progress. Found a wee collection of crochet patterns. My bookshelf is definitely tidier now. We have organised some stuff into boxes. Like, there is a load of electronics in that one, and I put a load of the stuff that I'm not using anymore, like plugs and USB cables for devices I don't have anymore and such. There's a load of toiletries in here. They can all get kept away. This pile of bags needs sorted, but the issue is it was on a rack and the whole rack has collapsed and it can't go back up again. There was too much weight on it. Well, it was fine until my brother and I started moving it, and then it just went, nah, gone. But I need to clear out the bags on that thing anyway, because most of them I don't use. Excuse me. But this space is clear, which is great, because I want to have this at an easy access. This is a UVB light device, and it's used for quite bad skin conditions. This has been highly recommended and vouched for people with psoriasis, and I have very bad psoriasis. Not bad to the point where it's like covering my whole body, but it's on its way to there. Like, a good chunk of my forehead's covered, my back has been getting worse, the patches on my elbow are getting worse, and this has been highly recommended as a effective therapy for it. But I need to make sure it's at an easy access location. There's a plug socket down there. It can just sit here. I can be in this little space and be like, right, light therapy time and all that nonsense. And my hair stuff can be here too. So that is kind of what I really wanted to get achieved with this, with you know, by tidying this area, is to make it easier to use this bit. So some good progress. Definitely more needs to be done, but I got the main part that I needed done. Now I need to kind of go on and start doing some other bits. But I did find some things I wanted to do later. A little while back, I bought some Fizzarolli pins. I really love these. They're so cute. I've not expressed greatly my love of clowns so far in these vlogs, but hopefully throughout the next year you will see that. but I got 2 pins and 2 t-shirts, and the t-shirts are my size, but I don't want them to wear out. I don't want them to get ruined in the wash and such, because I really like the artwork on them. So what I'm going to do is get a really big frame the t-shirt and the pin inside it, and I wanted to do the same thing for this ticket that I had for a Ninja Sex Party gig. Absolutely brilliant gig, by the way. It was very, very good. But I want to frame that along with the t-shirt I got, because the t-shirt is definitely way too small. Because I didn't have t-shirts in my size, so I thought, I'll just get a small one and I'll frame it. When was this gig? When was this? When was this? Is there a date on this? Oh, 2019! Oh, jeez! I'm actually kind of impressed I've kept the ticket that long. So yeah, I want to frame that along with the t-shirts, because that'll be quite good. I might put the Planet Booty pin in that one too, actually, because Planet Booty were there as like the warm-up gig, and they were so good. Never heard of them before, didn't know they existed, and damn, did they rock a good show. They were brilliant. So yeah, those are some projects in the future, so that might be a future studio vlog, is framing t-shirts. So yeah, we made some progress, got a little bit more to do in here, and then we'll actually try and do some artwork today. Getting some good tidying done. Moving tables about, just making space around here. I'm trying to figure out where might be the best spot for tables, and I'm thinking of getting another one to put along here, because the bottom shelves are things I don't think I'm going to use a great deal. I think the bottom shelves are going to be for like a lot of the heavy stuff I don't use too often. Like right now that's a bunch of storage stuff and frames. There's a big box of acrylic paint under there, so I might move some things around to where, like, okay, I don't use this particular thing that much, so it might as well go down there so I have access to the paints. But I don't know, I might move that table over here. Again, I'm so bad when it comes to, like, arranging furniture, man. I'm really bad at it, because it needs to feel right. Like, it's not so much about aesthetically how it looks, it's about functionality. Like if I have it here, it means I have like full access to what I'm doing. I've got light coming in, and I've got easy space to move my chair out, all that kind of stuff. If it's here, then it's potentially gonna, like, I'm gonna be blocking light coming in with something, or like I'm gonna have a light source that's gonna be too strong. I don't know, and I hate it. But we're getting there. I still need to tidy up this kind of wee corner, but it won't take too long. It just looks worse because it's all bunched in. But one thing I need to quickly do is I need to take out the lovely little cake topper that my mum made. This was made... Oh no, I felt something come off. Oh dear, I felt something fall off. I can glue that back on. My mum made this for me back in April for my birthday. Oh, yep, some bits have been coming off. Hold on. There we go. I needed both hands to get that out, otherwise I was going to make it worse. It's not very secure anyway. It is icing. So I'm going to have to like kind of glue it down, or maybe get some resin or something. But this is what my mum made me from a cake topper. Isn't that just the sweetest thing? Because it's got all 3 of my boys on it. That's Mayhem, Shadow and Chaos. And poor Chaos like passed away about a year ago. God, it is coming up for a year already. Jesus. Yeah, poor wee guy passed away last year. And it was devastating. I've never lost a pet before, and oh, it was not great. It was not a great time. But my mum was very supportive. She gave me a bit of money at that time so I could get him cremated and like have a wee box for him. Because I was in the middle of uni as well, and I just was not mentally coping. Like it was too much in one go. So for my birthday this year, when I saw that, oh god, did I nearly cry. Oh, hey baby, how are you? Mayhem. Oh, she got them down. She absolutely got them down. Because she's definitely got plenty of pictures of them. So it was very nice to just kind of see that and just be like, oh, mommy. Oh, so sweet. Absolutely so sweet. But I'll need to fix it up with a wee bit of glue, touch it up with maybe a little bit of clay or something, and just make sure it's nice and secure, because that's just, I want to preserve that somehow, because it's just lovely. Okay guys, we're about to suddenly switch from cleaning vlog to actual work vlog, and we're going to actually do some comic work. I'm going to talk a little bit in a video and then I'm going to do a voiceover for the rest of it, so enjoy watching. When it comes to going from your storyboards to the more kind of final process, I would say finesse process, well, kind of like finesse process, doesn't matter. Anyway, it's sometimes quite tricky because you are going from this very rough concept to something far more precise. And this is where a lot of my storyboards can end up changing depending on whether or not I can get the reference that I really need. And that's okay. It's okay for these parts to change because you're just trying to get the idea down. You're just kind of trying to get the concept in mind. So this is the part where you start trying to make it a bit more polished. And it's going to be tricky, it's going to be hard. But what you can do is, if it turns out backgrounds are too difficult, which they often are for me, I can't always quite visualise a background that well, just do the parts that you can and move on to the next page. I think I might do that with this one. I might go back to the backgrounds and do them separately. And try to get the more precise facial expressions done because they're more important to me. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. So yeah, here we go. This is like a comic for an ongoing project that I've been doing called The Horror Club Adventures, and it's changed name a couple different times. There's probably some previous vlogs that have been talking about it a little bit, but I've been actively trying to get a lot more involved in this project. I got a full chapter done for university and it made me want to really keep going on with it, and I really tried hard to like get a good narrative going, because a lot of the time when I've been creating this it's been a bit messy and chaotic. The plots haven't really woven together, and this particular chapter is one of them. I think this one has had about a dozen rewritings. The plot is completely changed. Like, the subject of the plot hasn't changed. Like, it's about gremlins. It is a plot entirely inspired by the movie Gremlins and how these kids handle gremlins in their school. It's not a very special plot. It's not a particularly, you know, original piece of work, but it's something that I enjoyed making. And sometimes you need to work with something familiar in order to build up in your skill set, and I do not claim to be an amazing comic artist. I am still learning, and every day it is frustrating. Oh, where's the tiredness coming from? It's coming from me. But yeah, I've still got so much to learn with comics. Like, I've been doing them for years. Technically I have a degree in it, but that doesn't mean that you're an amazing comic artist. The best comic artists are the ones with years and years of experience, which makes more sense. I mean, the best ones that you see have been doing it for a very long time, and I hope I can kind of get to that level one day, but for the moment it's take my little stories and see where I can go with it. And what I keep trying to do with my comics lately is try to make them more interesting. If there's any point in time where I can see, okay, this panel looks a bit boring, it's too flat, try and give it a more dynamic angle, like what I'm trying to do here. Where at first it was flat and I thought, no, that's just like, it's far too flat and simple. Have some perspective going on, play about with the camera angle, have the character at a different angle. Go a bit more adventurous with it. Stop. Like, I often have a look at my storyboard guidebook, which is a brilliant book that teaches you a lot about camera angles and kind of basic cinematography, and I try to use that a lot. Like, I'll bring the book out and have a look at it whenever in stock. I'll look at other mangas, which isn't always a good plan. Man, you shouldn't look at other manga. It's very I love looking at manga and sketching my favourite panels. That's a very lovely hobby. But looking at it when you're trying to work just upsets you so much. Because you look at some of your favourite ones. Like, right now I'm reading Kakagurui, and while there's so much of that manga that frustrates me, the artist does have a beautiful grasp of anatomy. sometimes a frustrating grasp of anatomy, because often there's just like, there's a particular anatomy where it's like, here, this just I may explain this more later. I have a love-hate relationship with some manga artists sometimes, and it's like but anywho, yes, looking at them is both a comfort and a frustration, just because you look at it and go like, oh, it's so beautiful, but the style of Kakegurui is entirely different from what this comic is. And like, as you can see here, there's loads of times where I have to use like a 3D model. I have a brilliant program called 3D Design Doll. A lot of my previous videos are all about it, and it is a lifesaver when it comes to the more complicated angles, and I use it a lot for getting the more perspective type shots. Because often I can draw from it once I kind of get that base. It's trying to get that angle in your mind's eye correct. It's quite difficult. Another thing I'm trying to do with my comics a lot more is put in the text. Put in the text. Put in the dialogue. Try and get some sound effects going. See what's happening, because it's the part I often leave. Yeah, again. I think talking just makes me yawn. I don't know. But anywho, where was I going with that? Forgotten. Yes, get the text and the dialogue in. It's just so necessary. I usually leave it to the last minute, and that almost always results in it being rushed. Something at the end always ends up getting rushed because I get impatient or there's a deadline. There's usually something. But the text is what I've always rushed in the past. It's the thing I've always left to the last minute. I've left the speech bubbles to the last minute, and I leave the text to the last minute. I learned to stop doing that in my course last year. It was a habit I really tried to break early on. Like after I made the Rabbit Masquerade and a couple of other wee projects, I was like, okay, no. I need to think far more about where my speech bubbles go, where my dialogue goes. I need to think more about the placement of these things, because what usually happens is, at least with previous comics, is I'll go through all this effort to make anatomy and dynamic characters and expressions, and then the dialogue I need to put in is either too big, too small, I've not made enough backgrounds, I've not made enough to really fill in that space correctly. And it looks a mess. It does look unfinished. Or the fonts aren't in the right place, there's no good justification, the font doesn't quite match up, there's just a bunch of things that just don't quite work. Now, this panel there, that was an annoying one. I'm trying to draw a light structure falling off the ceiling, and trying to find a model of a light structure was really hard. Luckily, Clip Studio Paint had one. They had a 3D one. I'm going to have to find a way to make that look more... I'm going to have to find a way to pop that out more. I think it's the angle. I think I've made it far too flat. I think I should have that with a bit more foreshortening in it. So that might actually be better. Let me fix that one. But this page was also supposed to have a much more involved background. Right there in the third row, there was supposed to be like a school background, like a big building showing off the kind of school's exterior, but it just wasn't happening. And then I was trying to draw the fences that you see outside of Scottish schools, and I couldn't quite get a good reference for it for some reason, so just gave up on that. Backgrounds and objects, man, I don't like it. I prefer drawing people and their expressions, playing with clothes and anatomy angles. I so much prefer that. I would love to hire a person that can do that bit for me, because I don't hate it. I just wish I could do it well. But like I said before, the only way you're going to do it well is to practice. So backgrounds, settings, objects, it's something I'm really going to have to practice a lot more. And that's probably something I could start doing for upcoming sketchbooks, is practice my environmental design. Having the 3D stuff is a huge help, but it really would probably help a lot more if I learned how to do it myself. Okay, I kind of lost track there because a bit of the audio got cut off, so I'll just continue on from here. I do try to make my storyboards as thorough as possible. I have a script, I work on my rough storyboards, and I try to be so thorough with it because I know that the work I don't put into these storyboards is going to affect me later. Substantially affect me. Because it means I haven't planned where the text comes in, what the reactions are supposed to be. But it's these particular types of pages that are very difficult. Exposition pages, where characters are having a back and forth dialogue and you are explaining exposition in that type of thing, and that's what's kind of going on here. The characters are talking about gremlins, they're discussing the types of gremlins and where, you know, like where they come from, and what types of gremlins are going on. I'm losing my words today. But so yeah, these types of pages can be particularly tricky. I love these types of pages though, because it forces me to become more expressive with the characters, have more body language going on, think about how that character moves in particular, and that's how I kind of came up with like just like some small gestures that I found quite cute for one of my characters. Just going, focus, focus, because that's usually what I have to do for myself. It's like, focus, Sarah, focus, focus your noggin. And sometimes the sketches don't even have to go very far beyond what the storyboard was. Like the bottom left there, oh, she's just a little pudgy potato. But yeah, like I love doing this part, but it is still always difficult because it's trying to squash a lot of things in, and I'm always worried about, will it look legible once I start inking it? Is it going to look a mess? And it's like, it's self-doubt a lot of the time. It's just a lot of self-doubt, and self-doubt is very hard to not do with comics. It really is so difficult. But you need to do your best. You need to do the best you can and just kind of keep pushing for it. But it is so difficult. But this is a page that I was trying to do today, and this is an example of when I think my storyboard has worked well and it turns out it has not, because there was parts of my script that didn't line up with these storyboards, and I've got a feeling I've just sketched them in my mind's eye. I thought they looked good, but I didn't write down enough notes explaining what was going on. I did have some notes, but just the way it was flowing did not work, and I was like, nah, I'm not liking this. But I was still trying to have fun with it. I made some very wild expressions, but a thing I'm trying to avoid with this character is have her be reactionary angry, because it's too much of a habit of mangas where the character reacts with kind of like violent anger for no reason other than like cheap comedy, and I don't like it that much. Sometimes it's funny, depends on the character, but if you do it for like half your characters, then it's just lazy writing. So I started changing her from like angry to frustrated, just like, oh, I'm about to lose my mind here, and that felt a little bit more fitting. I'm still going to play about with it and see what happened. But this wee part I was proud of, because I was trying to draw a fire exit, because they're trying to sneak back into the school. And normally with these types of backgrounds, the angled ones, they're very difficult because it's an angled background, but I didn't find it too difficult, mostly because it was just rectangles, so it's just like putting blocks together. But there's still parts of this where there's meant to be a background going on, and I was just getting frustrated with it. Like this wee tiny clip was hours. It was like 4 or 5 hours and nothing really achieved out of it. But that's just the way it is sometimes, and that seems to be come to an end now. So, whew, yeah. Like, the point I'm trying to make is sometimes these things are hard. They're very difficult, but you need to keep trying, because then what else is the point? You need to keep pushing for it, because then what else are you going to do? But one thing I have learned this week is don't push yourself in, man. I took on too many things this week. It was like stuff I'm not even getting paid for, or just it's like things I've volunteered for. I've got a Kickstarter going with friends right now. We're trying to get a anthology published, and I'm helping out with Octocon, and it's just like I've took on too many things at once, and I'm tired. I think all this frustration is coming from me being tired. But hopefully the rest of the week goes a bit smoothly. I'll get some sugar in me. I'll have a game day with my brother and I'll feel a lot better. But at the moment, I have got some work done. I do have pages done, I do have sketches done, I do have a sticker design done, and I do have some other bits done. I just set the bar really high for myself, and that's why I'm frustrated. But we'll continue on, we will do our best, and, you know, we'll see what happens in the next vlog. So, thank you for coming along, guys. I don't know who actually watches these things, but maybe someday they'll be useful to someone, who knows. Excuse me. Anywho, enjoy, guys. Take care and have a good night. Bye.